In this video, we're going to be reviewing a few ways to submit a time card, what information needs to be associated with each of those time cards, and then a few resources that we have on our dashboard to review what time cards are associated to you, the employee. So to begin with, we're going to go into our time card quick entry, which is under the quick search. I select time card. That opens the rapid time card entry screen, and at the top in gray, we can see our template for the time card. By filling in some of the information on the template, I'll save time when I'm submitting multiple time cards at once. And so to begin with, I'm going through and I am putting in my shop person. I hit the magnifying glass, which automatically filled in my time type associated with that person. And then I also filled in the labor class. Now to go ahead, I'm going to start by adding several lines to this time card that I know I'll use. I'm going to put in my work order information next, hit the magnifying glass, select the phase that I'm associated with, put in my next work order, hit the magnifying glass. That time it automatically filled in the phase because there's only one phase on that work order. And then for these next line items, I'm going to choose my dates that I'm going to be referring to. So I'm choosing April 1st, I'm choosing March 28th, and then I'm going to do the same thing for these other lines. For these lines that I'm not putting the work order information on, these will be for my leave. And so my leave is just going to be any regular hours, any time that I am at work, those need to be accounted for, along with if I took sick leave, family vacation, anything that matches my Madison, which also still needs to be filled out. My Madison is not being replaced by AIM, just both systems will need to be used. So I've selected regular hours for April 1st. I was there full 8 hours. I'm going to go down and I'm going to do the same thing for the 28th. Again, your leave code hours need to match whatever your typical shift is. So typically if you're working 8s or 10s, whatever that amount is, each day you need to have leave code hours that match that amount, versus your billable hours that you're charging on a work order or phase. You are just putting in as truthfully as possible the amount of hours that you put in on that work order and phase. So this time card is now filled out. I've got 2 different days of information. I've got my leave code for each day, and I've got my work hours. I'm going to go ahead and save that time card. I'm going to do one more example through the rapid entry. I'm going to create a few more lines, fill in that ox, and then create 3 lines off of this. What I want to demonstrate this time, just going to be filling out my work order information. But here what I want to demonstrate, we're going to say this was for the 27th. Let's go with March 27th. And on March 27th, what I'm going to demonstrate is that I was there in the morning. I worked on this work order for an hour, but I was there for the full morning. So we're going to say 4 hours of regular leave code time. But around lunch, I wasn't feeling the best. I decided I was going to take sick leave for the rest of the day. So I'm going to select sick under my leave code and then fill in the remaining 4 hours that would add up to my 8 hours of my regular shift if I combined both my leave codes. So from there, I'm going to save that time card and I'm good to go. The next example I want to play out is putting a time card straight through a phase. So I can do that by selecting the phase. From there, once I'm on the phase that I've worked on, I'm going to select time card on the left-hand side under the action menu. This brings us to the rapid time card entry screen again, but if you notice, now that work order and phase information is already filled out, so I can go ahead and fill in my other information. And then from there, I'll add that line, select the date that I worked on, and how many hours I worked that day on that leave code, on that work order. Go ahead and save that. Back to our dashboard. And the last thing I really want to draw your eye to is this time card for last 60 days for the employee. This is a very helpful chart and information that shows for the last 60 days any time cards that you have entered as the employee. And the big thing I want to draw your attention to is on the right hand side, the status. Now, when it comes to status of a time card, if it is not posted, that means you, the employee, can make adjustments or changes to that time card with just going in on the transaction, which we'll show in just a second. However, if the status is posted, that means it is now a payroll issue that you will have to get your supervisor to email payroll with the information of how many hours need to be adjusted, what the date of the adjustment is, who the employee is that time card is tied to, and what is their employee ID. Reach out to payroll with this information from your supervisor, and they will be able to go ahead and make that time card adjustment. But like I said, for other time cards, if it's not posted and you want to make an adjustment, all you do is open it up and you can edit it from there. Important things to note when you're looking at the time cards from this view is here's your billable work hours. It'll be totaling, so any amount of phases that you worked on that day, the amount of hours you put towards those phases will be totaled here. And then here's your leave hours. Again, this leave hours total needs to add up to whatever your typical workday hours are. If it's 8 hours, if it's 10 hours, whatever your typical workday is, each day your leave hours need to add up to that. As you click through and go through your last 60 days time cards, here's a great example. I noticed that on the 26th for the work date, there are 2 work hours in, but no leave hours. That would immediately catch my eye, and since the status of this time card is not posted, I would want to edit this time card, add a line with whatever leave type I had for that day, say done, save, and now this time card is correct. Now I'm accounting for whatever leave hours I worked that day, along with the billable hours that I'm charging to that phase. Last thing I want to share is for supervisors. This is a very helpful hint for when you're going to approve the time cards associated with your shop. When you click that time card approval card on the right hand side, you'll be taken to this screen where it shows by shop person in your shop, the amount of hours they've worked, and the thing to note here is to click the more details button, and from there that extends each work person's hours and transactions per day. And the big thing you're going to want to check here is, again, those leave hours. These leave hours need to each day add up to however many hours that employee typically works. So whether it's 8s or 10s, or they've got overtime included in that, the big key here is going to be the zeros. Should catch your eye because there should not be work days where the employee has 0 leave hours. So here's a great check. Remember, click that More Details button, and you'll find that through the time card approval card on the right-hand side. I hope this video is helpful. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. Thank you.